Hi, good evening. Welcome to my daily live session on various topics out of my toolkit for execution excellence. My name is Dinakar. I am the founder of Samutana and the inventor of Do a methodology for changing mindset and culture. It's a combination of both hard and soft skills, which is what we work on. And I've been picking up one tool every day and then talking about that. And let me just directly deep dive into that. And on Friday, I had spoken about flowchart, one of the fundamental tools available for improving in organizations. And here I'd said that it's important that everybody would use the flowchart to get the basic process right. And then once that is done, then we could go to the next level of doing any kind of an improvement. This is extremely a basic tool. And I'd said that it's just important to have a couple of fundamental ones which are necessary for doing a flowchart, which is the uh, uh, multiple groups of activities. The first is operation, which is a value adding activity, inspection, storage, again, a waste. Inspection also is a wastage because you're not really adding any value there. Then storage. After that, transport, again, a very classical waste. Every transport is a waste which one can think of. Then decision making, which is a value added activity because some decision is taken for the production or service. And then comes the last one, which is a bigger waste, which is delay. So these are the six elements which are required: the operation, then after that, inspection, transport, storage, delay, and decision making, decisions to be taken. So these are the six symbols one could use and make the layout. And after that, any process, it could be a product or it could be a service, and then get on with the improvement as the next step. So first, that's what I spoke on Friday. And after that, I hope you would have had a nice weekend. And I'm sorry for having delayed the start today. Almost 1 hour late because I had a telecon with a client and that got delayed. And you know how it is when you're talking to a customer who is extremely inspired and excited to achieve improvements, and a lot of new insights being triggered because of the information that they generate using meaningful cockpit charts. You know, this was a very interesting activity which I did, the telecon which I had. That's the reason why I got delayed. We are talking about understanding the cause and effect of various impacts, various elements in that company. And for that, it took us almost about 2 months' time. And don't ask me why. And that's the way life is. You have problems with the IT guy giving access to a server. And this is about trying to gather data from multiple plants to really look at how the performance is between the plants, and then how is the performance over the days between the plants. And we got that up and running, and again, not with any analytics or anything like that. It was just pure Excel. And one of the Excel cracks in that company was the one who did the job, because I don't really do that activity. I only guide them to do what is required. I call myself as a consultant coach. I am not a guy who's going to execute such jobs. So I basically guide them to do that. So I guided them, and then they got the data organized. And after that, it was a great, inspiring, very exciting, inspiring discussion that they had when the realization came about things which were assumed and were not right. And that's something which is classical, right? And that's something which is really outstanding for an improvement. And that's precisely what happens during Do-How. That's precisely what happens during our interventions, whatever that we do. So that's something for explaining why I got delayed. And again, I took your time for explaining that, because I felt it was interesting to share that experience. Now, let me go on to talk about today's tool, which is all about machine layouts, is what I had said. So what is machine layout and what am I going to be talking about is something which we'll see now. First is I started doing these layouts. So you look at this. This is a very interesting uh, diagram which I have got here. I'll talk about this diagram. So I was doing this activity some time back when I would do, or when I started my job. Actually, those days it was all done manually. We would cut templates, and then after that, try to find out which is the best way to place your machines and the entire flow of the organization. And for doing that, we would use the templates cut out of kg cardboards. I think you must have heard of kg cardboard. Then cut out the template of the machine and also cut out what is around that. You know, that's what I'm trying to talk about today. You could do it today on AutoCAD, or even PowerPoint is fine. You need to really measure the profile, and this can be done incidentally not only for the factories. You can also do it for houses when you want to arrange your furniture. I do that every time. I did that whenever we change the house. We changed a couple of times in Bangalore, 3 times. Whenever we came back to Bangalore and went back to Brazil, went back to Germany, and when we went to Brazil again, a new house there. Germany, different time. 2 times we went there. Jaipur. So every time there was a shifting happening, I would use this concept, which could be used for residential purpose also. Here it's very simple. You need to really first understand what is the base machine or whatever that you're talking about. That is the first one. And once that is done, then after that, to look at the various accessories and the infrastructure which has to be around that. For example, when you have a machine, that there is a need for an operation to be done. So you need to plan out what space is required for the operator to move around. And most of the time, the machine manufacturer would have indicated that. And you could also see that moving around, try to find out how much amount of space is required. Then after that, find out what space is required for maintenance. See, the space for the operator to move around is something which has to be accessible very easily, very regularly. Whereas what is needed for maintenance may have some, what should I say, assets or materials kept there which can be moved. It could be a trolley or it could be a rack which can be moved by the maintenance department to do the job. It's very simple. In our house, we have got washing machines kept on the facilities area, which is it's a kind of a balcony, you can say, enclosed balcony. And there we have some other thing also kept next to the washing machine. Whenever the AMC guy comes, the washing machine has to be shifted a little, and then after that pushed back to the same position. So that is possible because the maintenance is something which doesn't happen regularly. Whereas for movement, it is important that the space is always there and there is no obstacle there, so that the operator, in this case, when it's a washing machine, me or my wife, who load the machine and then take out material from the machine, the cloths from the machine, we should be able to move around very easily. So that's the key. That means the operating area should be accessible without any difficulty. Then the maintenance area need to be done at some frequency. Maybe you can still have some kind of a what should I say, non-fixed or movable material or movable item there. When I say machine, then it is normally grouted in many companies, and if it is grouted, then you can't really move the machine easily. You need to remove the grout. And if it is something which is very, very sensitive, then maybe you've got some vibration pads and so many things kept below the machine. So it's not easy to move it around. So machine fix it, then keep something movable in the maintenance area. Then comes the next area, which is the material handling area. This is something which is very, very interesting, where you need space for the materials to be moved left and right. It could be that materials are getting loaded, materials are getting unloaded. Again, in this space, you cannot really place anything at all. So if you look at this diagram, the machine area looks very small, whereas the surrounding is quite huge. Now, you can ask me as to why is it done. Does it make any sense? Of course, it makes sense, because the movement area where the material is to be moved can be a common area for two machines. You can put another machine where the same thing can overlap, whereas you cannot overlap the operating area with the maintenance area, or the operating area with the material movement area is okay, because it can't be that the material movement is happening and the operator also is standing there. That's that kind of a clarity. If it comes, then making a layout becomes easier, whether you're doing it in AutoCAD, whether you're doing it on paper. I used to do it in paper using KG cardboard, like I said. And there was a time when my boss used to always look at the service, the space productivity. How much amount of space has been used. And there the easy calculation was how much amount of free space is available in the shop floor, which is not having any machine or whatever it is. That's one way of looking at it. I would look at it in a different way, where you try to understand what is the total output you are getting in that particular space, throughput in that space. That could be a better indicator, not the free space. You can have free space as long as you're able to generate throughput. It's good, it's luxurious. Why do you need to really cram so much? Definitely it is interesting to cram, because space costs money. That's the reason why that kind of idea is there. So therefore, please ensure that you look at all these features when you're doing a layout. First is the machine template. Again, here, make sure that you measure the template, that dimensions correctly. Again, quite normally, quite regularly. The machine drawing, which is provided by the machine tool manufacturer, may not always be the same as to what machine you are receiving. Again, this is a very crazy situation. So I tell you from experience, it's always better to check out the dimensions on your machine before you really do that layout. And then again, look at the way the machine people have to move around in the machine by physically doing it, physically moving around. And again, the same thing with maintenance. Try to understand where the maintenance is to have access to, and then accordingly expand the total area necessary for the machine and make the layout. This you can do in AutoCAD using layers, and the machine could be the base layer, and after that add the other layers for maintenance, for operation and everything. So you can switch off the layer, switch on the layer to really see how does it look like. It's very easy, very interesting, and you could do it in and once you've done it in the plan view, this is called the plan view, where you're looking from the top, then you could do a 3D view. That again gives you a different dimension altogether. So thanks a lot for watching. And before I go, let me again thank you. I think some of you, I don't know who could participate. Some of you had participated. There were about 67 registrations, and at any given point of time we had about 25, 20, 30 participants in the webinar which I did yesterday, a DoHo webinar, demo webinar yesterday. So I'm going to repeat that 15 days from now. If you're interested, please register that. Visit the website which I've shown at the bottom, the link which I've shown at the bottom. It's very simple. doho.dinakarmurthy.com/31 Jan 2021, and then you get the registration link. Please register and please participate. And it will be really nice to experience DoHo, and it was quite a good positive reaction. Tomorrow, if I can get the feedbacks already done, I've asked everybody to give a feedback, and people take time to do a survey. So once I've got sufficient number of responses, maybe I'll share it in one of these days. So with that, thanks a lot for watching. And for those of you in India, have a nice evening. For those of you outside India, have a great day ahead. And before I go, let me give you a peek into what am I going to be talking about tomorrow. It's something which is interesting. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about what is called as Heijunka board. I don't know whether any of you have heard of this. If you have heard of it, then you know what I'm talking about. If you have not heard of it, then let it be a surprise. Heijunka board it is. So see you tomorrow, and have a nice evening or enjoy the day. And goodbye then. See you tomorrow. Bye.